Okay, let's dive right in. We've all been there, right? You're deep in a debate, you've got your facts lined up, and you are absolutely convinced you're right. But what if the very thing you're arguing about can't actually be proven? Today, we're going to crack the code on one of the most common mix-ups in any argument, the difference between a verifiable fact and a really powerful, well-supported opinion. And we're going to use one of the biggest sports debates of all time to help us figure it out. So, we'll start with a claim that for many people feels as solid as a rock, that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, the GOAT. Let's just build the case, just to see how strong it really is. And what's wild is where this quote comes from. This isn't just some fan on Twitter. This is a direct quote from the official NBA website. They call him, by acclamation, the greatest. You know that word acclamation? It means with a shout of overwhelming approval. It sounds so definitive, doesn't it? And that claim is backed by an absolute mountain of evidence. I mean, these are the hard numbers, the verifiable facts you can't argue with. 6 NBA championships, 10 scoring titles, which, by the way, is just staggering, 14 All-Star appearances, 3-time MVP, 3-time steals leader. Honestly, the list just goes on and on. It's an undeniable record of pure dominance. So the evidence is overwhelming. The official league website says it, the stats back it up, so case closed, right? Well, this is where things get interesting. This is where we pivot from just presenting the evidence to actually, examining the claim itself. So here it is. This is the central question for this entire explainer. We've seen the facts, all the championships, the scoring titles, but are those numbers enough to prove, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that he is the greatest? Just think about that for a second. Is there a number that actually equals greatest? To answer that, we need the right tools. We've got to understand the anatomy of a claim, kind of break it down to see what it's made of. So let's look at the 2 key types of statements we're dealing with here. First, you've got this big, broad category called a subjective claim. This is basically any statement that's built on someone's opinion, their feelings, or their personal judgment, not on evidence that everyone can agree on. It's pretty much anything that starts with I think or I believe. Okay, now let's zoom in a little. A value claim is a specific type of subjective claim. It's a judgment about something's quality, its worth, or how important it is. And here's the crucial part. A value claim, just by its nature, can't be proven true or false. And this slide just nails the difference perfectly. On the left, you have a verifiable fact. Jordan won 10 scoring titles. We can go to the record books, check the numbers, and confirm it. It's totally objective. But look at the right side, a value claim. Jordan is the greatest scorer. Even though it's supported by that amazing fact on the left, that one little word, greatest, introduces a judgment of quality that we just can't measure or prove. And if we want to get even more precise, we can split value claims into 2 main flavors. First, there are merit claims. These are judgments about quality, like calling something the best or worst or qualified. Then you've got moral claims, which are all about ethics, judging something as right or wrong. All right, now that we're armed with these new tools, let's go back to our original debate and really deconstruct that powerful claim about Michael Jordan. So here's the big takeaway. That statement, Michael Jordan was the greatest, is a classic value claim. It's not a statement of fact, even though it's surrounded by a ton of them. It's a judgment about his ultimate worth as a player. And based on what we just learned, which of those 2 types of value claims do you think it is? Is it a judgment about his quality as a player, or is it more about his ethics as a person? If you said merit claim, you are absolutely right. The whole debate isn't about whether Jordan was a good person or made the right moral choices. It's a judgment purely about his skill, his quality, his merit as a basketball player. So why, with all those incredible stats, does it stay an opinion? Well, it's because the word greatest itself can't be proven true or false. There's no single, universally accepted definition of what makes a player the best. I mean, do you value scoring more than defense? Do championships matter more than individual stats? How can you even compare players from totally different eras? The statistics are incredibly powerful evidence for sure, but they support the claim. They don't, and they really can't, prove it. Now, this might seem like we're just splitting hairs over a sports debate, but I promise you, this skill, the ability to spot a value claim, is super useful far, far beyond the world of sports. And I mean, they're absolutely everywhere. Once you learn to see them, you'll start noticing them in news headlines, in product reviews you read online, in political speeches, even in your own casual, day-to-day conversations. Just think about it for a second. An MVP award is literally a merit claim made by a group of voters. The Nobel Prize is a judgment on who made the greatest contribution to humanity. An Olympic gold medal in a judged sport like gymnastics, that's based on the opinions of judges. Movie reviews, political arguments about the best policy, these are all value claims that are just dressed up with evidence. And all this really brings us to the main point. The goal here isn't to say that opinions don't matter. Of course they do. Strong, well-supported opinions are essential. But knowing the difference is power. It helps you become a better debater, a smarter consumer of information, and way more aware of your own beliefs. So here's a final thought. What facts do you argue for that might, at their heart, actually be powerful, well-argued value claims? Something to think about.